What is up, What up, good people? It is the Ridin Durty Radio Show. Yours truly, VicXL.
I'm Boss Lady Bird.
What up, Bird?
What's up, Vic?
Man, just chilling, trying to get through these holidays. I've officially shaken the holiday blues. Now I'm in a good space. I guess because we're almost at the finish line. So, hey, man, I'm in a great place right now. I wasn't last week when we talked, but now I'm in a better place.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad to hear it.
But you know what? What's helping me be in a better place?
What's that?
Alcohol.
So that Tennessee whiskey or that Chattanooga whiskey, I mean, yo.
I'm officially out of Chattanooga whiskey. I really got to make a trip. I'm out. I'm literally out. I don't even know. I guess they sell it in stores, but you know, when I bought mine while I was there. And now I'm on.
You should have went and got you some of that moonshine at the Locust Grove liquor store where Nelly was signing bottles the other night.
I wish. Look, man, they told me late. I would have been there. I'm wherever the action is. I try to be there. You signing something, giving away something, rapping something. I'm trying to be there. I am in these streets trying to shake hands, take pictures. Yes, I'm mad that they told me Nelly was 15 minutes away from my front door and I'm live. I should have counted it live.
Be like, oh, I gotta go, y'all. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, sometimes the bad as my internet be acting sometimes. It should have went out then.
I was just fitting to say that, Vic. I was just fitting to say that.
All right, so bro, we have something very, very interesting we need to talk about. Have you ever had a mouse in your house, and at that point, every noise you hear, you think it's the mouse?
Yeah. And I hate mouses and rats and stuff. I'd rather see a spider than a rat.
They don't bother me. They just now. I have a mouse in my studio, and every noise. I thought I got rid of him, but I don't know if I'm paranoid. Now I feel like every sound I hear is a mouse. And this mouse wasn't scared of me. He was looking at me. I was looking at him. And I'm like, man, get your ass on that glue trap. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, the weather. I live in the woods, so this type of stuff kind of comes with the territory. When the weather starts to change and they find their way into the attic and so on and so on and so forth. But
they're trying to
now,
get around.
Yeah, and I'm looking around the studio like I hear stuff making noise, but it's probably me being paranoid. So, speaking of mice, we're going to talk about this documentary we've both had the opportunity to watch. And the name of the documentary is How to Tame an Elephant. And one way to tame an elephant, from what I've been heard, is a mouse. Because I heard elephants are afraid of mice.
They are.
Which is crazy as hell to me.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because the elephant is so much bigger than a mouse, but you know, whatever.
I'm sure that mouse, when he sees the elephant, he's more scared of the damn elephant than the elephant is him. But you know, who knows? We don't know about the animal kingdom. But this documentary is available on Tubi. So I don't know if I can do a link because I'm not sure if they do links on Tubi. But it's available on Tubi. They do links?
Yeah, you can get the link and put it in your description.
All right, so I'll put it in the description of this episode. It's called How to Tame an Elephant, and it's by an artist by the name of Homebwoi. And that's spelled Homebwoi. Homebwoi. The cool thing about the documentary, first of all, in the intro, in the description of it, it basically talks about an artist who actually kind of done his thing before the internet era or the social media era. That was in the description, which I thought was pretty daggum cool, because there are a lot of artists that haven't taken their rightful place in history because they were pre-social media.
Right.
So now in this documentary, he featured some and most of the people in the documentary, if you're not from Atlanta, you might not know some of these people, but he featured people as like Big Rube. Big Rube is one of the founding members of Organized Noise, which gave us Goody Mob, Outkast, and so on and so on. Comedian Black Boy, who has the record for most appearances on BET's Comic View. DJ Double O Key, who is a legendary mix DJ in the Georgia area. Bo Hagen, who a lot of people might remember, he worked with Lil Jon. He was featured on one of Lil Jon's biggest records. Who am I? Bo Hagen, BME representative, cold as a, anyway. I can't rap. Also DJ Toomp, who is known for producing for T.I. as well as Kanye West. It featured Four Eyes, who was once in a group with Ludacris. Man, it featured a lot of star-studded people when it comes to independent music, especially out of the Atlanta area. What are some of the stuff you got from the documentary, Bird?
I felt like in the documentary, especially, to me, it's like they talked to. I would have liked to heard more from Homebwoi himself in the documentary, rather than all the people that helped him along the way. But out of the people that they talked to, that one guy that was his cousin, and I remember him saying, like, my family probably gonna be mad about this, but he probably my favorite cousin. Like, he was probably my favorite in the documentary, though. But yeah, I would have liked to have heard more stories from Homebwoi himself.
I agree with that. I agree with that because it was more of a other people's
Interviews. It was
testimony.
more
Yeah.
interviews, from people around him more than himself, to me. But that's just my opinion.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that because it did give us a lot of people personal feelings and personal relationship about him as an artist. Um, Me knowing him personally, because I'm also in this documentary, me knowing
Yes,
him
you
personally,
were. Yes, you were in your North Carolina blue. I see
yes,
you,
sir.
man. I see you.
Yes, sir. Maria picked out that outfit. She said she felt like it would pop on camera. She said
It did.
it it would make my dark skin look more eloquent. Um, so I'm just lying on Maria. Maria did not say that.
Oh,
I'm just lying. But so a little bit about me and why I was in the documentary. Homebwoi is the actual first artist I ever managed. I started working with Homebwoi when he was not even driving. He might have been 15 years old. He had just won a anti-drug like how you have these contests when you're in school and you might have to
like
come
a
up with a
dare
song.
program or something.
Yeah, actually, you're 100% right. It was for Dare. It was a Dare program, and they had to come up with a song. Him and a classmate came up with a song. They won the contest. They had an opportunity to film a video. And everyone in my town know I've always been involved in music, and he was the first client I took upon. And in this documentary, he actually has people who was in our first group. And my first ever record deal came from my affiliation with that group. My second and third record deal came from working with him because I was able to get him. We were able to secure. We had a 9-member group on some Wu-Tang Clan type thing. And we got a record deal. Then him and another person had a group within that group. They got a record deal, and then he landed the deal he talked about in the documentary with College Park Music. I also was part of that and the development of his career while he was with College Park Music. Me and him still remain friends to this very day. To me, I think his journey is a lot bigger and more informative than he talked about in the documentary. Now, the documentary covered a lot of things, his family. He had his wife in there, his mother, his father, his brother. He even told the story that a lot of people probably wouldn't talk about. He told the story of having a baby that he took care of that wasn't his. that he found out
Yeah.
about later on in the baby's life. Now, my question to you, Bert, how do you feel? What do you feel should happen to a woman who tells a guy this is his baby, and he pays child support for, let's say, 3 years, and then finds out it's not his baby? Do you think there should be
I
any
think
type of
they should have
ramification?
to. I think they should have to pay it back.
So you think there should be a court order that the woman has to pay back that money that gentleman spent?
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I don't know, somehow, some way, um, whether it's a reverse child support or whatever the case may be. I do think that that woman should have a financial obligation to that gentleman, because chances are he's never going to see that money back, and he can't get that time back.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's not only the money, it's the emotion and time that he done put to the child that wasn't even his. And then you got the heartache that's going to come along with it.
And the distrust.
Yeah, and I mean to his whole family, not just him. I remember his cousin commenting on it, saying people still look at that bitch cross-eyed.
Yeah, yeah. Fortunately for me, I never had an opportunity to meet her. If I did, I don't recall meeting her. I think once I for some reason I know about this story because I was involved in his life, but I never met the child or her, and I guess I'm glad, so I can't have any resentment towards her, because I know emotionally that bothered him.
Right. Yeah.
Now, some of the things in the documentary he talked about, and he focused mostly on his journey with College Park music. A lot of people don't realize Homebwoi is also, he talks about a record that was done with him and the Yin Yang Twins. Now, when this record hit the marketplace, I'm gonna be very honest, the record did very little, if anything. It was kind of considered a flop. It didn't do well, but through the power of social media and the internet, the record now is popular because of Deion Sanders and all the stuff he's doing out in Colorado. Deion Sanders actually uses that record today as his theme song.
Okay. It's never too late.
No, even though he considers himself a pre-social media artist, he's receiving residuals because of this record, which, as an artist, I'll tell anybody, put your music out. You never know when it's going to pop. But the one thing I know, it can't pop on your computer.
That's it. Not just sitting there. No, you got to get it out there no matter what. You got to take the good with the bad.
Now, do you think if you are artist, Bird, and you went through a situation like having a baby blamed on you, do you think you could continue on with your music career, or do you think that would make you so disgruntled you just say, man, F it, I'm done?
I think I would write a song about it. Or rap a song about it, whatever. I think you could. I mean, capitalize off the pain. And people like them good pain songs.
Actually, I don't know if he's ever done one.
I mean, because I'm sure a lot of other people in the world right. A lot of other people in the world could relate to that. I mean, I'm sure that happens quite frequently, more than some would think, probably.
Yeah. That's why I commend him for talking about it, because I'm sure it's happened to men and they ain't willing to talk about it, because I'm sure it's got to be a little bit embarrassing, especially amongst your family. So telling it to strangers.
Right.
So I commend him for that. Also in the movie,
how you think Blueface is feeling right about now then?
But do you think that's real?
My bad. We need to probably say that.
No.
I think it's real.
You think he's actually took a DNA test? Has he showed it?
I don't know if they've showed it, but why think out of anybody, like, why did he? You know what? It could be a troll, because now that you said that, because he even called the name, of Offset. I'm gonna say it. He called the name of Offset being the baby daddy now. So now there's this whole beef with all them and shit going back and forth. So you might be right. They might have pulled a Charleston White on our ass.
Yeah. It might be a troll. I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to wait a little bit. In this documentary, we're gonna come back because me and you
I'm
we'll
sorry.
just
Yeah, I'm sorry.
no, it's all good. It's all good. We talking about babies being blamed on people, and hey, so it fits. In the documentary, he was able to press on, continue to do music. The one thing I'm gonna say about Homebwoi, he's always been like really, really talented. He taught himself how to produce because he was having challenges finding people to make music for him, or he was having financial challenges at a young age, paying for studio time. So and they talk about it in the documentary how his father invested in him, bought the keyboard. He taught himself how to make the keyboard, how to work the keyboard, which led to him making beats and so on and so forth. He also speaks about the challenges of being with a record label, being compromised on should I do this as opposed to should I do this, should I sound this way, shouldn't I sound this way. Now let me tell you what I thought was really, really dope. Because he was signed to College Park Music, he had Mr. College Park in the video, in the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. College Park exact words were, "You don't listen. You wouldn't listen." I don't think the average artist would have put that in there.
Well, I mean, even though they done the documentary, did he actually have anything to do with the production or the editing of the documentary?
No.
Well, that's probably why I got in there.
No, what I'm saying is Homebwoi was in a position where he could have left that out. Because a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
people,
Okay.
a lot of people might look at it like, dang, you brought this guy on here to literally say you didn't listen.
Well,
You should have listened.
I guess you kind of have to respect the fact of him. I guess that shows some sort of him taking accountability for those actions. He must have knew that, yeah, I was young, whatever, stupid. I ain't listening to these folk. Like, I'm gonna go and let that slide in the documentary, and that was maybe him taking the accountability, responsibility for knowing that, I guess, whatever altered his success, he don't go blame it on everybody else. I think that him letting that slide into the documentary may have been a way of him, taking responsibility for some of that.
Yeah. The more we talk about this, the more I agree with you, Bird. Because in me and you externalizing and creating dialogue and conversation about the documentary, there are so many questions I would have liked him to answer. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to a lot of people who might not be as close to the situation. Because there
Right.
are a lot of things, because in hearing Mr. Collar Park say you didn't listen. So as a person watching it, it makes me say, well, what did he listen to? Or what should he have listened about? So it will be a perfect setup for a part two because there are a lot of unanswered questions. Like it also will make someone say, well, where is he at now in life? You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you, Vic, as somebody close to Homebwoi in the manager's position, do you agree with Mr. Colin Park's statement?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Because and it's not just Homebwoi. It's not just Homebwoi as an
I'm
artist.
sure he had other influences, whether it was broads or family or whatever.
Well,
The
this is the
starlight
thing.
is bright. I hear the starlight is bright. Sometimes
The,
people get blinded.
man, listen. This is the one thing I know about the spotlight. Number one, it generally thrusts you into unfamiliar territory. If you're and I can and we're talking about his documentary, but we can veer it off into other things. But let's just say from a YouTube perspective. So say that you're a person who, in general conversation, you're lucky if your family listens to you. You know what I'm saying? To where one day you turn on your computer and you have hundreds and thousands of people who listen to you and believe in what you say. That gives you maybe somewhat a false sense of power.
No, boy, does it.
Or it makes you feel like you're more important, but to your family, you still just you.
Boy, you just described the worky verse to a T, Big. But we ain't gotta talk about all that. But you described it in a way that I had been, especially when it comes to trolling and shit on the internet. Because that's what I say. Like they ain't no way that these people got family. Like you're right, that their families must not listen to them. They've got more that they're not feeling this importance that they should want to feel, I guess. Like they need to step their game up in real life and quit worrying about this internet shit is my advice. But yeah.
Listen, think about it though. Think about it. Say, and then this, and you mentioned name. I don't even know what it is, so we're gonna keep going. Um,
Okay.
the Marvel verse. You never mind. Don't worry about it. I didn't.
Okay.
No, because I'm looking at my, I collect Funkos, and I'm looking at my Miles Morales Funko, and I was just thinking Spider Verse when you said that, and so anyway,
you can clip that part out.
no, I don't do no editing, you know that. It is what it is at this point. We finna fight.
All right.
But I'm gonna relate it to YouTube. So say for instance, you're in a relationship, male or female, right? Say you and your wife been together, you and your husband been together over 10 years. It can get kind of mundane. It can get kind of repetitious. Y'all probably have those same type of conversations. The shit that used to work back in the day don't work. You know what I'm saying? And all of us, your husband don't tell you you're beautiful, your wife don't tell you you're handsome, right? And then one day you turn on YouTube and all of a sudden they're telling you that color looks good on you. And then as a man or a woman, you thinking to yourself, I can't remember the last time my mate told me that color looks good on me. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
now you find yourself wearing that color more often because
Right.
there are people who like it on you. And you can tend to get blinded by that world as opposed to the reality that you live. I'm saying that to say the question you asked me was, do I feel like he didn't listen? I do feel like there was points and times in his career that maybe some people told him things should be this way and they weren't. Whether that was his own personal advice to himself or other people, I can't blame anybody. But I do know of instances I felt like he should have listened based on the people that were giving the money, that were spending the money and investing in him. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are elements in the
Absolutely.
documentary like that. Okay, there's a portion in the documentary that a person told him that his contract was worth $1. Do you remember that part of the documentary?
I do.
Okay. So that would leave the viewer to think that he only received $1 in the contract. That's incorrect because he received a law. He received at least what is considered a year's income as an advance.
Right.
That was never said in the documentary though. So it will make the average viewer or listener think, damn, that man only made $1. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
So the one thing I like the documentary, I feel like when people do documentaries and they tell their own documentary, even if other people come in and tell the entire story, you still have the power to basically make the people feel the way you feel when you're going into it. I'm sure if I'd done a documentary on my previous marriage and my ex-wife done a documentary on our previous marriage, I'm sure they wouldn't align. They wouldn't align, other than the fact that we
Right.
were married.
It'd be two different versions. I get it.
Right. Because in the documentary, you might see me for all of 5 minutes. I interviewed for 2 hours.
Right.
So, I think it was a good documentary as an introduction of who he was as an artist. Um, I think it was a perfect setup because one thing he talked about in the documentary was a project. Now he released a project to go along, a musical project to go alongside the documentary, and the musical portion of it is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece, and I like that he did show himself working on it in the documentary. I felt like that he should have gave links out to the music in the documentary to let people know that it's out there, because to me, I like the music a lot better than I like the documentary. I like him as an artist even more so than I enjoyed the documentary, because I feel like there are so many aspects and so many layers of him as a man and an artist that he didn't cover that. Like right now, he ventured off into the IT world, and he's doing very, very well for himself, better than most artists. I feel like that should have been discussed, because there's a lot of artists out here wondering, what do I do next now that I've hit that age threshold when it comes to doing hip hop? I feel like, and
Yeah.
I me and him had this conversation, so I'm not just saying things that he don't know. I told him, bro, you should have talked about how fruitful the IT business has been for you, because there are artists your age who like still chasing that dream.
Right. Absolutely.
And actually, he mentioned in the description about being pre-social media. Well, he thrust himself into the social media world and now works in that field where he helps market major products for major companies. And like I said, and getting a way bigger bag than he would probably be getting if he was actively rapping. I feel like he should have ended that documentary talking about where he is now.
Yeah, I didn't get that from the documentary either. Of he talked about a little bit of shit that happened before making it, or whatever you want to call it. And shit that happened during trying to make it, but he never really let us know where he is now.
And I think that's very important. Like in documentaries, hell, we want to know, are they dead? Did you go to jail? Are
Yeah,
you
what are
still
you
making
doing now?
music?
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, are we finna be asked to hit your cash app after this? I mean, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
I like the documentary. It's one of those things that I'm glad I watched, and because I was involved with it. I'm not sure how much replay value I give it, because as an artist, say I'm an artist, I feel like you didn't tell me the pitfalls, you didn't tell me the highs, you didn't tell me the lows, you didn't tell me should it be buyer beware. Like I felt like there's so much ground that could have been covered and wasn't covered. Now, again, I commend him for sharing that portion about the baby, because most people wouldn't share that. But he didn't talk about his relationship with Mr. Colin Park working alongside it. There was also a situation where he had a record that would have been huge, but the record didn't get put out because the sample didn't get cleared. I think that would have been dope to talk about, especially based on what's going on in the world with Boosie.
right, absolutely.
So I just feel like there's so many layers to it that didn't get covered, that he could come out with a part two that will probably be more interesting than part one to me.
Yeah,
Because
and I feel he probably told about the incident with the baby and stuff, so he could probably talk about overcoming that. But he really yeah, it really left you wondering like what's going on with him now. So yeah, definitely I could see a part two of Taming an Elephant.
yeah, like he didn't really mention his relationship with BG. He had a record that actually his first single was a record that featured BG, and the record started to do well, and it started to do so well. BG came to us and said, "Hey, let's flip the record and make it my first single, and then you can get the look off of it." And we actually done that, and there was a financial gain in that. You know what I'm saying? He also had music that appeared on the WWE World Wrestling Federation. He was on DJ Khaled's first album. There are so many layers to this guy that, from the artist standpoint, that he didn't put in. That
Yeah, I was gonna say I would have definitely liked to have heard more about all that.
Man, this man, you know how big DJ Khaled is, right?
Right. Yeah.
He was on DJ Khaled's first project. The very first DJ Khaled project. It was called Listen. He's on it. He was featured on a song with Lil Scrappy. And at the time, that's when Scrappy had Nuck If You Buck. Not Nuck If You Buck. You don't want no problem. Who? Remember that song?
Mm-hmm.
He that was when Scrappy was doing this thing. Like that was so many levels to his career that I feel like he left off for and I feel like for this to be a musical piece, I feel like the music fan would love hearing about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It lacked a lot of that for me.
So that goes back to me. That goes back to what you initially said. Like the people that he interviewed can't tell these stories that I'm actually mentioning. And I'm not going to tell too much of the stories just in case he wants to do a part two. Because again, he appeared on Soul Train. You know what I'm saying? You know how legendary Soul Train is.
Wow.
And I think
Yeah.
he mentioned Soul Train in it, but you know, his very first flight experience was during his music career. There was so many things that I think this could have been a very educational piece for an artist, and it left me feeling more like a diary, like a more of a virtual, a visual diary.
Yeah,
And
it was
that's not
more on the personal note, I guess, than the fame or losing the fame or like I said, what he's doing now. Like, yeah.
And I'm gonna say this as we wrap it up on, unless you want to ask something. This guy is one of the most talented people, even to this day, that I've ever met. He can rap, he can sing, he can produce, he's funny. Um, like he's kind of like, you know how Ludacris can make serious rhymes, but then he can make rhymes that make you laugh.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he has that kind of wit, and his charisma is off the chain. I just think I would have wanted, I feel like I want to hear more about the entertainment aspect of it as opposed to you being a great guy. Because the one thing I walked away knowing is he's a great guy. His
Yeah,
mother,
absolutely.
his mother
Absolutely.
loves him. He's his cousin's favorite cousin. You know, his
Yeah.
wife loves him. And all those are attributes as a man. Those are attributes. That's put it like this. If I was a single woman and he was a single man, I might be trying to hit him up because he sounds like an awesome husband and provider.
Absolutely. Speaking of very talented artists and documentaries and such, you know who else has a great documentary we should watch and talk about?
Who Purple Velvet Love?
No, Dumb Genius.
Dumb Genius has a documentary?
It sure does.
Man,
It
you
covers
lying to me,
it.
Bird.
No, I'm so fucking serious. I'm so fucking serious. It covers I think the last little bit of his sentence in prison and things he did getting out of prison and how he bettered his life now even after prison. Absolutely.
Well, Bird, can I get a link?
I got you. I got you. It was shown on PBS and all kind of places. But yes, it's very good. Yeah, I will definitely send you that.
Is this something we can talk about on an episode? Would he mind us discussing it?
Oh no, he wouldn't mind a bit. He wouldn't mind a bit. As a matter of fact, as much as he's been trolled about his documentary when it was a totally positive thing, it would probably be very refreshing for Gene to hear somebody actually speak positively about his well done documentary.
Did he do
Like
it himself?
these people, literally, I think, followed him around for like an equivalent of 5 years or something, making this documentary.
Man, yes. Send me that link. You know, Bird, man, you talk about entertainment, movies, news. That's what this platform is about, for us to get the information out there that people might not know. So send me that and we can talk about it. We can definitely talk
Absolutely.
about it. I can't leave without saying shout out to Lundy, because Lundy actually is a gentleman by the name of Lundy. He done the the camera work and all the cinematography of the Homebwoi documentary. But I also commend Homebwoi because he completely funded this himself. He didn't have an investor. He didn't have a label.
Shout out to Homebwoi definitely for doing that.
And I'm going to send you the link to the project because the project is named the same thing. So everybody in the chat, I will drop the Spotify link, but the album is called How to Tame an Elephant also. And you know what's funny?
I hadn't really checked the album out yet, but after, you know, and it's crazy because he don't really mention the album in the documentary that corresponds, does he?
No, he not.
No,
like he showed
did that.
He showed footage of him working in the studio, and I think he mentioned it very, very early in the documentary, but he didn't harp on it. And the artists that he shows in the studio that are performing, those are artists that actually help him on the project. Like there's a gentleman named Dice Payne. There's a couple of females in there. And I'm telling you, you know how we always talk about grown folks music, grown folks party. The music is very grown. It's very grown, and it's if you're into adult content when it comes, not adult like a Miss Licky adult, adult like the struggles of being.
Don't say you won't back that up. You back that up.
It's that grown man stuff. Huh?
Yeah, I said that contemporary content.
Yes,
might be a better choice of words.
I'm gonna drop the link in the description for you guys to check it out. Again, man, How to Tame an Elephant. I didn't realize what that meant until me and you start talking. And it's metaphorically, he's the elephant, and he was tamed by the music industry.
Yeah, that's what I got from it.
Man, salute to Homebwoi. As a whole, it was put together very, very well. I did like the things that was discussed. There was nothing in it that made me say bullshit. I just feel like he could have helped more people by talking about where he's at now and getting more in depth to some of these situations. You know, he spoke on the record with Yin Yang Twins, but he also, like I said, he has records with Cali. He has a record on the WWE. He could have talked. There's so much stuff that wasn't covered that I think it could be equally as beneficial to an artist who has never hit that level or may not never hit that level. And I think he should have said, I had an awesome manager who helped navigate through all this stuff. Now I'm just joking.
Absolutely, he should. And anybody that has not, just to give you another reason to go check out our top 10 countdown from November. Homebwoi is featured on our top 10 countdown. So if you just want to say, hey, let me see if I'm even interested in the slightest bit about this guy before I go check out the project, before I go check out the documentary, you can do that on our top 10 countdown from November. Homebwoi is featured on that.
Absolutely. Where can they find you at, Bird?
You can find me on IG on Bird420. I almost lost my train of thought. Like, what's my IG? My IG is Bird420. You can send me all your music. Send me some drops. Send me some drops, artists. I'll be playing y'all shit. At least introduce your shit and send me a drop. Come on, shout out Boss Lady Bird. You can send me that or your music on my email at birdbuzz85@gmail.com, or you can catch me right here on the YouTube on Boss Lady Bird channel, or right here on Ridin Durty Radio. Hey,
Bird, can I ask you a question?
Always.
I'm scared for you to answer this question though. I don't know if I should ask this after the show or on the show.
Don't ask if you don't want to answer, sir.
I want to answer. So you just mentioned drops, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you should hit up Miss Licky for a drop.
You know what? I'm gonna do that, Vic. I'm gonna do that just for you.
Yes, I think you should most definitely hit up Miss Licky.
And I can't think of any other female artist that I might could get one from. So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
But Bird, you're gonna have to play these people music, Bird. You're gonna have to play that music if she give you a drop. So you might want to
Oh
think
yeah,
about that,
I
Mom.
didn't even think about that.
See, I just
Listen
set
to
you
her
up,
first.
bird.
I better listen to her first before I decide. Because if she talking about exactly what she doing on stage in her raps, I'm probably not gonna be too interested. Hello, zoom, 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 and a boom, boom, boom.
Well, I know it's off the subject, but I just bought some fresh new batteries for when we get an opportunity to
Bye,
interview
Vic.
you.
Bye,
What,
Vic.
bird? Hold on,
Bye,
bird.
Vic.
Hold
Show's
on,
over,
bird.
ladies
No,
and gentlemen.
no,
We
bird. No,
appreciate everybody for coming.
bird. No, hold on, bird. It's a serious question. Serious question. Duracell or Energizer?
Energizer? No. I like
Because
recharge. I like something that comes with a plug in that just recharges itself. Fuck buying a bunch of battery.
Energizer, they keep coming and coming. I mean, going and going and going, right? All right, bro. Till next time, man. We
Let
out.
us know. Let these people know where they can find you and your crazy ass at.
Y'all can find me on the Instagram at Ridin Durty Radio, and you can find me at Twitter at Ridin Durty Radio, and TikTok at Ridin Durty Radio, and on Facebook at Ridin Durty Radio. Get at your boy, get at your girl Bird, and remember, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m., the pre-show, sponsored by Energizer Batteries. Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m., the duel, brought to you by that girl, Miss Licky. All right, Bird. We're going to talk later, all right?
All right, bye, Vic.
Riding.